This week on Pole House Backpot Weekend Getaways, we're going around the world.
We're doing Christmas desserts from all around the world, starting with an English
slash German
something Lepp cookie.
So stick around.
This is Wade, and I'm Angel, and this is Iris, and we are Pole House Black Pots Weekend Getaways, where we show you all things yummy to cook in cast iron as we visit different places.
Well, welcome to Pole House Black Pot Weekend Getaways. And what are we doing this
Well,
week?
first of all, Christmas is coming. Does this put us at 5 or 6 weeks before Christmas?
I think 5 weeks. But anyway, it's
We're
Thanksgiving
doing,
week actually coming up. Yeah.
When we went a couple months ago, I think it was, to Iowa to visit friends of ours in Iowa. Oh, first of all, cast is off.
Oh yeah. Just to brace on for a couple weeks.
For a couple weeks, probably a little longer.
So she's healing good.
This one's really bothering me worse than this one.
The one that she's only sprained, supposedly.
Well, no, bruised.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, what started this was when we went to Iowa, we went to the Chechenian village, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things they had was a cookie / pastry with poppy seeds, which is their favorite, which we are going to fix.
I don't remember what it's called. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up. We haven't done that yet.
So we're going to do that one in a few
decided
weeks.
we would do Christmas desserts around the world.
Yeah, we're going to do food and turn that being desserts.
This one's going to be Lepp Cookies, which is a family favorite. The thing is, though, with this cookie, it makes a huge amount.
Oh, yeah.
And we wind up being sick of them before we get them all ate. So there's quite a few of them that
go to waste. Even though they keep
Although
good
last year I figured out.
Yeah, a new plan.
You know, we've done it here when we were at Arrow Rock. We did cookie dough.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe if we freeze it, maybe if we freeze what we don't cook. So last year for Christmas, we gave my mom and Wade's mom a couple of sleeves of cookie dough, and it turned out really good.
We just rolled them out after they thawed and
we kept them and froze them, and they were good for. I mean, we had them clear up until the summer.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was really wonderful idea.
Cookies.
So we're gonna show you. It's kind of since it makes so much, and it looks more difficult than it actually is. The worst part of it is the mixing up of these. I'll put the name of these cookies because it's German and I'll butcher it, but we call them Lepp Cookies.
And we call it's kind of I don't know if it's going to be sticking German or whichever, because we're going to do another German dish. But from our neck of the woods of a family, it came from England.
Yes.
Years ago, but it might be, I looked it up, so it might be actually German too, but I don't know, but we're going to do a German something later on, but so whichever, from my family, it came from England.
As far as it's European, whatever it is. Yeah. I think the bread that we're going to do could be German / Swedish. Yeah. The version we're going to do has the candy in the middle of it. So, at any rate, we're going to get around. Wade's doing all the mixing he usually does anyways of this, because it takes, I mean, you have to be very strong to get these cookies
and you'll find out, we'll see why here we get the rest of this into this
I'm going to warn you now, you got to have a sturdy spoon. I mean a sturdy spoon. Show them.
Yeah, this is the heaviest wooden spoon we've got, and if you got some metal one, that would work good too.
Metal doesn't work because you're going to wind up bending it in half. Yeah. Wood, very sturdy wooden spoon. So we're going to get back and we'll
get started. All right. Okay, we're starting with a ½ pound of lard.
Which equals?
2 cups, right?
2 cups.
Okay, and we're putting it in a decent sized Dutch oven. To that, we're going to add 1 pint, no, it's going to be 1 quart of molasses.
Our moms really liked this last year, both of them.
Yeah.
All they had to do was roll them out and eat them.
almost made a mess. This is kind of a messy job, so.
Well, and you gotta be almost He-Man or Stretch Armstrong, one of the two, to get it.
Yeah, and then we end up wearing half of this molasses. We're not careful.
Now, some of these recipes have honey and white sugar and molasses.
There's different recipes, of course.
This recipe is the one
we've only changed it a little bit with one different, but Mom changed it too because we didn't have some of the different fruits. But
well, we discovered we like different fruits than what they ask for.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna give this a stir. This all starts coming together. Okay. Okay, to this combination.
Now you're gonna look at that. That is the biggest Dutch oven that we've got that's enamelware.
Yeah, kitchen style enamelware.
Kitchen style enamelware.
If you have a big stock pot or something, that's what Mom used to use.
That's what we usually use.
But you need a good heavy bottom.
But then it wouldn't be Pole House black pots. And yes, that's a black pot underneath that.
Okay, so we add to that, we're going to add half a cup, or about, well, I don't remember how many this is, but this is some candied fruit.
We usually fill it all, don't we?
Yeah, we use all. This is a half a pound. Okay?
Half a pound. You said half a cup, so.
This is half a cup according to the.
Half a pound.
Yeah, I don't know how much it was by cups. Probably closer to a cup.
If not a little more than that.
Anyway, okay. And these measurements don't have to be exact.
Even though it's baking.
Yeah, it is baking, but this is a little bit different than some of them. We're also adding half pound each of raisins. This is where we strayed from my mom a little bit. Instead of doing all raisins, we're also doing dried cranberries, or some people call them as craisins. A half pound of each one of those. The original recipe that Mom had actually showed
some other kind of candy
currant. It showed currants and raisins. So that's what's a little bit different.
Which is two different kinds of grapes.
Yeah, that's still kind of the same. Okay, I'll kind of give this a stir as it goes.
You got to get that totally melted,
yeah,
right?
Get the lard totally mixed up and melted. And then once that's done, you don't need to cook it anymore. Let's get that lard mixed up and done. Okay, to that, the fun part. We didn't bring a measuring. We need to go get a 1 teaspoon measuring.
Alright, well, I'm going to sit here. Stir this up. That lard.
Alright, I'm back with the measuring.
You're back. Well, that lard is not cooking very fast.
It's alright. Alright, we have teaspoon each, starting with.
Let me go over here.
Cloves. Then we have teaspoon of nutmeg. Teaspoon of allspice. And these are all ground.
I would do a little less than a teaspoon because that stuff is
pretty strong, isn't it?
Pretty strong, as we found out with.
Yeah, this is actually Jamaican allspice, a bit stronger. Teaspoon of ginger.
All your fall classic flavors.
Mm-hmm. And of course, can't go, gotta have cinnamon. And the original recipe was a teaspoon, but we years ago changed that to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. That's when this red concoction starts really smelling good.
Smell up your whole house.
Mm-hmm.
The smells of Christmas.
Get all them spices mixed in, incorporated good. Yeah, like I say, it's a big job to get all these, and when you make them all at one time, like we always did, when we rolled them, because you got to roll these out after they chill, it would take several hours to get them done, and then you eat on them, and then you forget about them because we just put them in an airtight container and keep them for several months. So sometimes we forget them, so it's like, then you come up with this idea, and it's like, this is a great idea.
Well,
vegan.
I think we ate our last batch back in June, didn't we?
I think it was left after that. Yeah. Okay, that's almost melted. We have to add a quart of chopped pecans.
Oh, my pecans. Well, I'm going to have to make a trip down to Dutch Bakery, and we've done a video down there. That's where we get all our supplies.
Okay. All right, we did all that stuff. Got a couple more fun ingredients to add. Now, I'm going to give it a good stir. If we don't see any white pieces of anything, which I'm not seeing.
Because you don't want to scorch this.
No. That sugar in that molasses can scorch pretty
And
easy.
that lard can scorch pretty easy too.
Okay, I think, looks like everything is incorporated. Now you can turn the burner off. Next thing.
All right, now I'm going to come back over here.
Yep. We have 1 cup of buttermilk. Now we didn't have buttermilk, but never fear.
We made it.
Really doesn't have much butter flavor in buttermilk, from what you can tell. So we used a cup of milk. And how much?
About a tablespoon.
Of vinegar.
Now this is fun. Now it sounds like a lot. We double checked on this recipe and we think it's right. She said whatever was on her recipe and we copied that. So
my mom, that is. 1/4 cup of baking soda.
Now you got to work quickly with this.
Yeah, it starts doing its thing. Starts working. You give it a couple seconds. When it starts working, see it's starting to foam up.
Yep.
You pour it in, and now watch what happens. The whole thing starts doing some funky stuff.
Oh my God, they smell
and
so
that's
good.
when, if you have smell-o-vision, that's when you really smell.
Look at that.
Excellent. Now I got a whiff of it.
Oh my God, that smells good.
Something about adding that buttermilk and that baking soda to this mixture.
And it should kind of look like this. It kind of reminds me of peanut brittle.
Yeah, if you made peanut brittle, this is what it looks like. I think a lot of peanut brittle, somewhat kind of the same idea. When you don't you put baking soda and stuff in that too?
It's been so long since I made it.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not positive.
Okay, now how long you got to stir that?
You just stir it till it's kind of make sure it's well incorporated.
Yeah, because the last thing you want's a blob of baking soda.
That's right. All right, now, as you can tell, this is nowhere close to cookie yet.
Nope, we got one more
Like
ingredient. Now, you didn't put any salt in that, did you?
No, there was salt.
And
There's supposed to be
salt.
a teaspoon of
All
salt.
right.
I'm glad you remembered. Good job, hon. Should have remembered. Check our recipe twice sometimes, but you check it 3 times. All right, now, before we start adding our last ingredient, we're going to make sure this salt gets incorporated good, which is also a teaspoon. Pretty easy to remember. Everything's a teaspoon of spices except for the cinnamon. Should be doubled to 2 teaspoons. All right, now, that's mixed up. Last job.
It takes most of
A
a
lot of flour.
5-pound bag of flour.
Yeah, it does not really say how many cups for sure, so you just start adding.
I think we're gonna run out of room.
Yeah, well, you probably should have used our stock pot.
Yeah. Or a bigger Dutch oven. We got one that's bigger. Kitchen style.
And people wonder why we have so many Dutch ovens. Never have too many.
So you say. Leslie thinks we have too many the first time she whacks her toe on one of them. Oh, we're going to have plenty of room. It's going down a little bit.
Yep. And once you kind of get it halfway incorporated, you just add another bunch. It's probably, for this part, it's at least 3 pounds.
I think it's closer to 4.
Probably
there ain't
is,
much
yeah.
left.
because it's not going to be completely ready yet, and its cookie is going to be pretty sticky because it's still hot. So once this comes together, we get most of this flour stirred in.
I guess we need to tell them this is a 2-day process minimum, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to let this chill in the refrigerator overnight, or a number of hours.
Did you bring your gloves out here, dear?
Probably not.
You need your gloves, don't you? Or a glove. I'll be back.
We'll probably need 2 because we'll have to both tag team this job.
Well, I couldn't find your gloves, but I found oven mitts.
Alright, see here, we're coming to, oh wait a minute. Okay, see, we're coming together, but we're still very, very sticky. So we're going to add a bunch more. Now you want to kind of go in steps because you can get too much and then you kind of lose some flavor. So, because if you don't quite...
Well, and it does need to be a little bit sticky because you're going to roll it out with more flour.
Yeah, that's right. You can roll it out and add more flour then, of course. So you don't have to overdo it now.
Ooh,
it's not ready to...
Smell it? Oh, it smells so good.
It's not ready for rolling out yet. Never rolled out.
This is one of our signs it's Christmas is on its way.
Yeah, and he's always... This is something we usually have always done, right? Usually like right after Thanksgiving, even though Thanksgiving's coming up this Thursday. But it's so nice out, it's crazy. It was yesterday morning, it was 25 degrees.
And I was out hunting.
And she went out hunting. And now it's almost 70 on Sunday afternoon. So.
And I'm not out hunting. They won't even be running.
And the forecast for next Sunday, unless they change it, is 19
is the low.
No, 12 is the low.
Ooh.
That's Fahrenheit, that is. We are in America. 12 and like 28 for the high. So crazy weather. Now see how thick this is? This is why they told you got to have a sturdy spoon. What do you think? A little bit more?
Well, you know more than I do.
I'm going to do a little bit more. We're getting close.
Put too much.
No, we're getting close. We're getting close.
That's enough, I'd say.
Now, this is what we wear. If you're going to make the whole batch, you can just take this container and put it in the fridge. But things cool out better, really, if you can spread it out. And if you if you're a little bit less, if you want a bigger time crunch, you can actually do like we're going to do here in a minute, and you can probably make them in probably 3 or 4 hours if you wanted to. Actually roll them out.
Wait a minute. Oh! Stir this side. Hair. It looked like an iris hair. Oh well, somebody's going to get extra protein.
Well, that's the trouble with a corgi. It's one of them dogs that get everywhere. They got a double coat, kind of like Labrador Retrievers. Some of those type dogs. Okay, now, what we're going to do is...
We're going to regroup because we're going to put it in our containers that we're using.
Yeah, we're going to chill.
To chill it out.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to prep it if you're going to put it in the freezer. So, we'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to need them mitts?
Are you going to be able to scoop it out?
Well, I'll try.
Try to do about a half.
A little more than half.
Well, I kind of did a mark. About half. We'll try to do about a half.
Which one are we going in first?
Whichever one you can. You can do it.
Alright, come over here. Oh, sorry we're not talking through this very much.
Okay, I've gotten this mainly spread out. It's still hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the cooling process, and then we can always form it, and we form it down a little bit flatter and more even after it gets chilled. And what we're going to do then is cut it in. This one we're going to cut in, we just cut them in 4 pieces, and then we can wrap them up and freeze them that way. And then when you pull them out, you can take that block, lay it out on a board and roll it out, and we'll show you how to do that. But that's going to be after these cool, and so I guess we'll see you all tomorrow.
Christmas is almost here. Have you found the perfect gift for a loved one who likes being outside and cooking outdoors? Well, look no further. Pole House Black Pot Weekend Getaways has a cookbook. In that cookbook, you'll not only find tips for how to take care of your Dutch ovens, but you'll find our first 2 years of recipes. To order, send a check or money order of $20 for the cookbooks and $6 shipping and handling to Pole House Black Pots, P.O. Box 212, Fayette, Missouri 65248, or on Venmo. $26 as well. When you're using Venmo, please include your address. We can't send it to you if we don't have your address. We hope you're having a great holiday and Merry Christmas. Oh, what a difference a day makes.
Yesterday was 70 degrees.
Can you see it?
See your breath today. But
it's cold.
We got our Lepp cookies made. Rolled them out yesterday into a 9x13. Actually, we did 2 different pans. And now we've got them, and what we can do, you can flatten it out a little bit more. Doesn't make any difference. You can kind of make them flatter in here on top. You probably could have done that before they really got chilled, but it isn't going to hurt anything. Okay, now we're going to lift it out and set it on a board. And to package these, prep them for freezing, we're going to cut them in 4 different. So make 4 of them. The easiest way to do that is to cut in half, and then cut those halves in half. Simple.
He is so good about making things as even as possible. I never do.
Okay.
Now, each one of these little sections makes about a dozen cookies.
Works out perfect, yeah. Okay, so now we'll pull each one out, wrap it in individual, and
now we don't use saran wrap for much.
Works good for this.
That's why our saran wrap package looks so bad.
Okay, then we'll just grab one, pick it up. Pour it out of here a little bit better. There we go. Wrap it around. You want to do a decent amount of wrapping to keep it from getting freezer burnt. Lasts a little bit better. Okay. Once we do that, what we did was we just put them in, give them a good wrap up like that. Grab a Ziploc bag. Put them down in. These are freezer bags, so they'll last several months without any problem.
So we do like that with all of them. And then, we're not going to show you doing all of them. We put them in the freezer, and they'll last a good 6-8 months. Here in just a minute, we're going to show you rolling them out and how we fix them outside. We're going to use our Cook-It-All.
Yep, charcoal's going. As soon as it's ready, we'll get our Dutch oven preheated, or the Cook-It-All preheated. We'll go from there. So,
briquettes are almost ready. So we'll be back. We'll be back when we're ready to bake.
okay, so we have our charcoal about ready.
Now, we need to tell them what we're cooking with. Something we don't use very often is our cook-it-all. There's part of it sitting there, and there's the rest of it. There's a wok part that you can cook, you know, like stir fries and stews and stuff, and then a reversible griddle. We're going to use the flat part, which is called the pizza stone or pizza part. And we're going to preheat this, cook it all.
And you can see here, it has a flat on one side or a griddle on the other side. Of course, with cookies, you got to use a flat. There's no stand when you do it this way, so we have to use, quote, the...
Hold on a minute, Iris has got a problem here. Let me put her in the house.
That over. I think it might work flatter with those ridges on the bottom.
Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna have to move them out a little bit more so that we want these out to the outside edge, just like with a regular cast iron Dutch oven. Okay.
The reason why I had to put Iris in is I don't know if you can see her out there. That little black dot out there is the cat, and Iris just loves that cat.
Oh yeah.
She was headed for our tripods there, and I didn't think that'd be a good
I got
combo.
all the cast charcoal around the bottom outside edge. So now I'm gonna put the lid on.
Now it's very important the way he's got that cocked. Can you show him why?
Well, I'll show you here in a second. Because you got a little special little lid lifter handle thing with this cook-it-all. It's really handy.
Now these cookies really, really don't lend well to being a bar cookie, which is what you normally make in a Dutch oven.
Yeah, it's a little easier. So,
and this step is very important if you want your cookies to cook. Now, if you're cooking more than one batch of cookies, which we can fit 12 on here, we use parchment paper, 2 sheets, one to go on and one to come off.
Yeah, you need to slide the parchment paper and all out over onto your cook-it-all. That's pretty good. While that's preheating, we're going to change focus. We're going to go over here. So, we're going to start with a little bit of bench flour. I don't know why they call it bench flour, because it's not a bench, it's on a cookie or cutting board. And this is one of them that we already had rolled up, so we're going to re-unroll it. And
if you can find the end.
Find the end up, found it. Okay, now lay it out. We can kind of get both sides rolled out. And it's kind of nice with this bar shape. We're going to kind of keep it in, quote, a rectangle. Kind of handy. Because it's easier on these to, quote, not make round cookies. You can make round cookies if you like. There's nothing wrong with making a round cookie. But this is easier. You don't have to re-roll it out. And you make rounds, you have waste, and you got to roll that out again. And
as you can tell, Wade's putting quite a bit of pressure on this little table, and that end's trying to flip up.
Well, here, I'll put it in the middle. There you go.
Oh, it's still.
Fine, I got it. Don't go too far.
I'm going to hold it down for you, dear. Can't do the rolling out, but I can hold it down.
Now, you're going to roll these down fairly thin, probably, well, bigger than maybe 1/4 inch.
The recipe says 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch.
I think, well, 1/8 is too thin.
You think an 1/8 is too
Yeah,
thin?
definitely. 1/4 inch is plenty thin.
Now, if you wanted to, you could do like some people do with
their,
like sugar cookies. They put a dowel that's the right thickness.
Yeah, along the sides.
Yes.
And then you roll down till your dowel rod hits, the rolling pin hits the dowel rod.
Those are about good enough, aren't they?
Just about there, yes. And we didn't get quite the rectangle, but that's okay.
It's not going to matter.
No, they're rustic cookies.
Yes, they are.
And so...
You could use a cookie cutter to do this with.
We're making it easier.
You could ice it, but we don't like them like that.
Yeah, so now we're going to, let's see.
And it's easiest to use a pizza cutter. Looks like we didn't quite cut it right.
No, we can cut them smaller and make it. So you get 12 cookies. That's okay. Okay, now you want to use about at least the amount of flour you need because they'll have a better flavor. Start adding too much flour, then you're going to get where you don't have quite as good a flavored cookie. Okay, so oven's probably be preheated enough. So now
we're going to scoot over
again
here.
What we were talking about. These come with.
It comes with
yeah,
those.
it's kind of handy. So what we're going to do is these work good like this. Now wait a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to get some of the worst of this ashes off because we don't have any place to set this lid clean. So you got to be careful. We'll get them ashy stuff out of the way long enough. It's one thing you got to be careful on when you're cooking because a regular lid stand doesn't work because you got this
well,
dome.
You're already using your lid stand.
You're using the lid stand. So these handles pick up. You lift it off. You set it right down here. And then those can kind of hang. And we put our cookies on.
Oh, I found an iris here. That must have been, do you see it? Did I get it? I did. That must have been the one I saw yesterday. The joys of having a shedding dog.
Yeah. Looks about right. Now you want to work fairly quick because that heat is all escaping from your oven. Put the lid back on. And this is why they're staggered with the bottom, this part and this part, so that you can lift this top off without having to pick up the whole thing. Okay. That's it for now. Now, these cookies are a little bit tricky because they're already dark because of all that molasses. So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes to get them done. And basically you want to just cook them until they just barely start getting darker. And then they're going to be a little bit soft when you pull them out. So you want to pull them out, let them cool, and then they should harden up a little bit. So you'll have a soft cookie but a little crunchy outside edge. So sometimes that's kind of tough to do, especially with this type of oven because you can't open it like it in a house. You gotta take the whole lid off and peek in there and see if they're done.
Okay, that brings me to a question,
yes.
Dear. Do we have to turn this oven?
Since we're doing about a normal cookie bake, which is what, 12, 15 minutes?
12 to 15 minutes.
We really just don't worry about it. It's not like it's gonna be a 30-minute cook time or something like that. So we're probably not gonna worry about it. Then if we take the lid off and check it, that heat's gonna redistribute and you can put the lid right back on, or probably gonna be okay. So probably for that short cook time, we're not gonna worry about it. So we're gonna let them cook, set a timer, and we'll be back and get these checked. Okay, it's been 15 minutes.
Oh, and I smell them.
So hopefully we didn't overcook them. We'll find out here in a minute.
Try to get down here and get a good shot of it. Oh no, those are perfect.
I think so.
Do you see how they're not shiny?
Now what I did forgot about, and I kind of messed that up. If you look here, I messed that one up because this lid goes inside that, and I forgot about that. We haven't used this enough. So they're still going to be real wet, soft, but I think they'll cook They'll cook a few more minutes on top of that cast iron, of course, and they'll thicken, or they get a little bit browner, so we don't overcook them. And let them rest a few minutes before we peel them off with a peel and let them cool before we can sample them. So pretty good.
We know how these taste, so we're not going to taste them on
They got a little bit of molasses.
They kind of taste like
gingerbread.
Gingerbread.
Yeah, because they got that molasses and they got a lot of spices in there. As you saw, we made them yesterday, and then they got the nuts and the fruit and all that. So yeah, they're really good. So.
Well, that does it this week for Pole House Black Pot Weekend Getaways. We hope you liked this video. If you did, watch some of our others. Please consider subscribing, give us a like and a share, and we'll see you next week.